Hey guys, this is Mike of Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays collection. Welcome guys to another episode talking about videos, Blu-rays, DVDs, laser discs, everything physical media. Let's talk about some new stuff here. Today I've got some stuff that I haven't really talked about. One genre, I guess it's a genre, but a type of movie, is the documentary. I love documentaries. Back a few years ago, man, it's like I couldn't get enough documentaries. I think I watched every interesting one on Netflix I could, and got to the point where I couldn't find anything interesting. So I probably watched a ton of documentaries. But I've always loved documentaries every far back as beginning watching movies, getting into classic movies and stuff. Especially ones about Hollywood, about the filmmakers, about the actors, about the history of Hollywood, stuff like that, documentaries like that. So today I'm gonna show you guys a few documentaries that I have and I think are really, really good, and I'll recommend these guys. Without saying I recommend. I recommend all these. These are very great movies, documentaries. The first one I want to talk about is Not Quite Hollywood. Now this one has been getting a lot of talk. I don't know if it just came out or what, but I remember seeing this a while ago. Gosh, man, it is a great documentary. I mean, this is, I believe the same guys that made the Canon film, the Canon film one was involved in this one. This is about the kind of the history of Australian, like, drive-in grindhouse type movies. So we call them Ozploitation instead of exploration. I can't even speak. I didn't take my speaking medicine this morning. So anyways, Ozploitation, like exploitation movies up here. So it's basically all of these Australian genres of movies done Australian style, if you will. So one of the more famous ones that you can probably think up right off, or maybe not, is the Mad Max franchise, especially the first two Mad Maxes, made in Australia, directors, the actors. It was totally Australia. I think of Australia and I think of Mad Max. But yeah, that's one of the movies that would be included in this history of these movies and these things. So there's all these genres. There's horror, there's the slasher, there's the auto, cars racing, car chases, blah blah blah. So it has all of that cool stuff that America probably made famous first. I don't know, but it's kind of cool to see a different view of something going on in another country at the same time. Because like when you sit at home, you think, well, I'm just watching stuff that comes out in the United States mainly, or something, maybe a little bit of Europe. But all over the world, there's whole whole countries doing their own stuff. You got Hong Kong, you got Australia, you got New Zealand, Israel. Everywhere's got little, the Middle East has a big movie industry of their own, so they make a lot of movies too. So it's kind of cool to look into Australia. It's got a lot of cool interviews, Quentin Tarantino, Jamie Lee Curtis, people like that. So yeah, I highly recommend that. Hope I didn't miss that one up too much, guys. Next up, this is one that came out in 1992. I actually had the chance to see this at the movie theater. I had a local kind of art house, I guess you could say, up in a few miles away from me in Louisville, and they showed this, and it's all about cinematographers. And I was loving some cinema at the time. I think I was maybe 15 or 16 possibly when this came out. And I was just eating this stuff up like this was just the greatest stuff in the world. To see short clips from all these classic movies up on the big screen was just, it was breathtaking. It really was. I mean, for a cinema geek like me, I was just completely geeking out on this stuff. It was so cool to see this in 1992. So the documentary I'm talking about is called Visions of Light. Now this is, this has been out, guys, for a while, but I even have a laser disc of this. So it came out in 1992. It covers the art of cinematography from the beginning days in Hollywood all the way up to that point in time, the 1990s. So it's pretty interesting. Some of the many famous cinematographers are represented in this, and they do interviews. There's archival interviews, there's new interviews, interviews with Laszlo Kovacs, Alan Daviau, all the way up, you got Indiana Jones and scenes from the 80s, all the greatest movies, all represented in this. It's such a great movie. I don't believe it's on Blu-ray. This is a DVD that was released through Image and 20th Century Fox that came out. This is probably the early 2000s, I'm gonna say. This came out in 2000, so it's been out for a while. So if you can find a copy of this, it's obviously out of print. Pick it up. If you love classic movies, I mean, you will totally geek out with this movie. Such a great thing. Now, the next documentary is a really cool documentary. This is about a man who was originally born and raised in Kentucky and became one of the most celebrated and like almost infamous writers of the 60s of the 60s generation, the counterculture and stuff like that. But watching the documentary, you see him as he's kind of leans a little right, a little left. He's, not to get political or anything, but he's a very fascinating individual. And I'm talking about Hunter S. Thompson. And this documentary is just called Gonzo. And this has been out for a while. I originally saw this on Netflix and picked it up, and it's really good. It's got a lot of bonus stuff. This came out in 2008. It's loaded with stuff, documentary, extra bonus footage. Johnny Depp pops up in here a lot. Of course, Bill Murray, people like that. Family talking about his life and stuff, going into controversies and everything. It's really, really interesting. A fascinating person Hunter S. Thompson was, and he was from Louisville. Next up, this is a newer one I got. This is a documentary that came out originally, I think it was made in 2001. It came out in 2003. Now, I heard a lot about this, and I finally found a copy of it. It's hard to find, really, and I found some really expensive copies of it, but I finally found one that was economical, and I got it. It's a movie called Cinemania. It's about, it follows the lives of three obsessed movie people. People that go to the movies absolutely every day. I mean, they literally don't work, they don't do anything. They go to the movies every day. Now, this takes place in New York City, where there's tons of art houses, there's tons of, theaters of all sorts and genres and stuff. So, it follows these three people, and it kind of talks about their obsessive nature and their obsessive beliefs and stuff, and it goes into their homes and everything in their lives, and it's very interesting. I mean, you look at it and you think, man, hope that's not me, is it? And it's like, of course it's not me. But this is a very fascinating documentary. It's called Cinemania. I remember it being well spoke of when it came out. So if you can find a copy of this, I recommend you to get it. And it's called Cinemania. And the next one I'm going to show you is kind of similar. but not really. Now this one just came out. This came out from Filmlandia or something. It's called Movie Hoarders, from VHS to DVD and beyond. This just came out a couple of months ago, and it basically talks about, you know, people that have YouTube channels such as me and other people, film obsessed people. It shows some of the bigger YouTube movie people that have like 1 million subscribers and stuff, and you walk into their homes and they have an entire basement covered in movies, shelves and shelves and shelves. A lot of famous YouTubers are represented in this and everything, and it goes back to a lot of people from the VHS day, rental video store days, stuff like that. It kind of left me wanting more from it. And I was kind of disappointed that it didn't show a large range of YouTubers and people that make, you know, online content talking about movies, you know, movie collectors and stuff like that. I mean, it also shows movie collectors that don't really have, you know, YouTube channels or anything, but, you know, famous people that archive stuff. But it was kind of short. I mean, I don't know. I liked it a lot. I mean, it's 129 minutes. I think that includes some extra stuff, but it seemed like it just wasn't long enough. It just didn't have, it was missing something. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just being critical of it. I try not to be very critical. I try to be open-minded to movies and, you know, stuff like that. But it seemed like it was missing something. But at the same time, I really like it. So if you can find this, I think you can get on Amazon. I believe it's not very much. Maybe wait a little bit and it'll go down in price. I think it's maybe $19. I could be wrong. But check that out, Movie Hoarders from VHS and beyond. And keep your eyes on Netflix and Amazon Prime. Maybe they'll be streaming it soon because it's a newer stuff. But whew. So there you go, guys. There's 5 documentaries. These are just 5 documentaries that I like. These are not the best documentaries that I have or have ever seen, but these are 5 documentaries that are very interesting. Ones that I think you'll really enjoy, being a movie lover and anybody that's into the history of film, and anybody that's between the ages of 20 and 55, 60 can appreciate this. People that grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and now could really appreciate some of these documentaries, because it explores a lot of the days of renting videos and going to the theater, and all the way up to people having YouTube channels and collecting movies. So I think I kind of did a wide array of stuff. So tell me what you think, guys. Comment, let me know if there's anything, any documentaries I should check out, because I really do love documentaries. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed, and make sure you give me a like and all that good stuff. And I think that's about it, guys. I will see you guys again for another episode on Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays collection. So you guys take it easy out there and be safe.